here in Miami that has supported this event. All of the sponsors that have helped this from day one. And listen, I gotta say thank you to my wife as well. Finally, the collectors that bring us cars from everywhere, thank you for sharing them with us. It does not go unnoticed. We know it's a lot of work, the logistics, the liability, all of these different things. So I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. Thank you again. We'll see you next year for the 10th anniversary of Miami Concourse.
Full season is coming. Soften the blows with the #1 lotion tissue, Close.
These are your customers without the clarity of TransUnion marketing solutions. You try to understand them. You think you know maybe their interests, buying patterns, media choices, but there's too many data signals. You struggle to connect it all together. Until now. With TransUnion, the chaos suddenly becomes clear, revealing a complete picture of your customers, who they are, where to find them, how to optimize their journey.
You think you really know me?
I know you do. Welcome to a better way.
So as we go into our 10 years of curated here in Miami, one of the goals with our new videos and our content is to double down on the history and the information that we share with the world. And I realize that some of our videos don't always go into the broader history and the broader context of so many of these incredible supercars. So today, let's maybe call this a new format, but we are going to give you a tour of some of the most incredible supercars that have been produced over the last 30, 40 years and the stories behind them. So there's some really, really incredible moments today. I think we first, before we jump into the Porsche Carrera GT, very much like the F50, when you think of the ethos of the Carrera GT was developed from a potential motorsport project that was canceled, a Le Mans racing car, this engine and this chassis design, and then that car would be developed into a road car. And what we have here, many people consider the greatest analog supercar or the last analog supercar of our time. This is a carbon fiber monocoque, carbon fiber body. Every part of this car is carbon, manual transmission, and an absolutely phenomenal gearbox. No flywheel, which was very controversial when this car first came out, because the clutch, if you don't know what you're doing, is very difficult to understand. It's an in or out system. You're not touching the gas while you're releasing the clutch, which is not something you'd normally think of. So a lot of people complained about the clutch and complained about these cars when they were first new. And you're talking about a V10 engine that sounds absolutely incredible, possibly one of the best sounding engines of all times. It revs quick because there's no flywheel, and these cars are just so incredible to drive. The fit and finish is perfect. The roof comes off. These two top panels here come off and go into the front bonnet. Now, we've done a ton of research on these cars lately. We've had this incredible opportunity this year to sell about 5 or 6 of these cars, actually 6. Of those 6, 3 were sample cars. Now, let's go into some numbers. There were 1,269 Carrera GTs produced for the world. I've seen some reports that say 1,270. Not true. 1,269 production cars produced. There were 600, and I need to check this note for 1 second. There were 656 U.S. documented cars. That number is updated. There's some in wrong numbers online. That's 656 cars. Now, of those 656 cars, 350 were produced in GT Silver. Now, the GT Silver was the most common color. More than half of all production numbers, about 51%, were produced in the GT Silver, which was the original launch color of this car. And this interior color was actually the original launch color. It's the Ascot interior. So the standard colors of these cars were the Guards Red, the GT Silver, the black, the Salt Black, and the Fans Yellow. You had a choice on the interior of terracotta, the Ascot brown, or the natural gray leather, which was really black interior. Most people chose the black interior. If you wanted something like the launch spec, you chose the Ascot interior, and that's what we're standing with today. 3,900 miles. We just had the opportunity to purchase this car, and these cars are fantastic. The Carrera GT was produced between 2004 and 2006. When you think of, the holy trinity of supercars in this concept that really started with this generation, it was the McLaren SLR, the Ferrari Enzo, and the Carrera GT. I would say that the Carrera GT might be my favorite of the bunch. The Enzo, obviously, production numbers are much lower. The SLR much higher. Now, what was interesting is these cars all came out in price-wise between $500,000 and $1 million at the time, and they really all struggled to sell. The Enzo was the one that there was obviously a demand. They brought a little premium when they first came out, but Carrera GTs sat on showroom floors for years. Now, another car from that generation that we've dealt in a lot of these cars, and when you think of the production numbers of a Carrera GT or even an Enzo, and then you talk about this car, it makes this car just that much more exciting. This is the Koenigsegg CCX. Now, this car actually tells a very similar story of a car that we will talk about shortly, the Roof CTR anniversary, because this is the first time that from the front to the rear, Koenigsegg produced a car that was built completely in-house. The CCX was the launch of their own developed engine, that 4.7-liter twin supercharged V8, coming out over 800 horsepower. And this was a car that, with its carbon fiber monocoque and all of the aerodynamics, was built to go 245 mile an hour plus. Now, what's so cool about this car, when you look back, is only 49 cars were produced for the world, 14 cars produced for the US. So this was at a moment before Koenigsegg became the name brand it is today. It was really a very, very small boutique, supercar manufacturer out of Sweden. And when you think of Koenigsegg and what they've done today, I mean, the Jesko is sold out. The CC850 is sold out. The Jumeirah is sold out. So all of their cars are sold out, I believe, until 2027. So looking back on this, I think it's such an important car. These cars are rear-wheel drive, manual transmission, ton of horsepower. It's so cool. 14 examples for the U.S. I believe of those 14, only 11 were manual transmission. This is believed to be the lowest one, the lowest mileage car left in the world. And I think, when you think of Koenigsegg and all of the developments that they've done, this car is way ahead of its time. The iconic doors, the iconic roof that comes off the carbon panel, so cool and very special to have it here. Now, when you think of supercars and you think of the progression of supercars, I can't tell you guys how important I feel this exact car, this generation of cars is to the supercar. In my eyes, this is the car that changed the supercar world forever, and this is 1978 Lamborghini Countach LT400S Series 1. Now, in 1971, Lamborghini, Marcello Bandini designed the original Countach design, which is this beautiful wedge-shaped concept, and very shocking to the world, was unveiled first at the 1971 Geneva Motor Show. That original design of the LP500 was just really, really wild, way ahead of its time with the scissor doors and its entire design. And that car would later go into production into the LP400 Periscopio cars. Now, the biggest difference between those cars and this car is the wide wheels and flare. And that was the first Countach. The side flares that you see here, the lower flare here, the side flares here, the rear flare here, a big fat wing, and this staggered design of these wide wheel in the rear and this tucked-in wheel at the front. And these are the famous magnesium wheels that were called Bravo wheels, first used on that first Countach by Walter Wolf. And this is the first time that any tire manufacturer has produced a tire so wide. The Pirelli P7 was first used on the Lamborghini Countach LP400S. Only 50 LP400S examples, Series 1, were built for the world. I look at these as the holy grail what do you think of the Cruise option? These Bravo wheels just look so good. Only 50 cars came like that. And these cars are called low body because they were built on the same body, chassis, doors as the original Periscope cars. It looks great. It's total art. It's so rare. You imagine there's